Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. First of all, salute everyone on the channel, all old subscribers, all new subscribers, anyone that supported me this weekend, joining up on the live chats. We had a lot of fun. Anyone that made donations to the channel, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for supporting. We had a great time. All the pre-fight live commentary, the post-fight live commentary during the fight, everything was great. Went extremely well. We had a lot of fun this weekend. All right. So let's get into it. I want to make a couple videos. One about each fighter directly. Deontay Wilder. Let's talk about him first. What should he do? Okay, there is another rematch clause. Well, it's not a rematch, but this would be the third fight if they are to fight again immediately. Okay, there is a clause in there. When they signed this deal to fight each other, it was a two-fight deal. Okay, so overall, the weekend, good weekend. This was an ESPN Fox event. I'm sure the pay-per-view numbers are going to do extremely well, probably higher than what I originally, predicted. I predicted 670,000 pay-per-view buys, but I believe they're probably going to do more than that. At this point, I think I'm going to be a little off. I think they're probably going to do at least 800,000 and possibly a million. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I mean, the hype behind the fight was real, like I said. But we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. I could be. It could be lower than that. I don't know. But I think it's going to be big. Okay, the pay-per-view buys. All right. All right. So let's talk about Deontay Wilder. What should he do next? I personally don't believe that he should go into an immediate rematch because I don't think he can beat Tyson Fury. I don't think he won the first fight. I thought he lost the first fight 8-4 and 8 rounds to 4. I mean, and we saw what happened in the following fight. Fury came in much bigger, heavier, uh, more powerful, more durable, slower, but he came in there as a tank. I mean, he is the bigger man, naturally the bigger man, and he used his size to his advantage and walked Deontay Wilder down, put pressure on Wilder. Wilder's right hand just wasn't there. All right, he landed a few good shots against Fury, but it just didn't phase Fury at all, and it didn't stop Fury from coming forward. All right, Fury ate those shots as if Wilder is not the puncher that he is. The right hand has always been the equalizer, and once you take that right hand away, Wilder is really literally left with nothing. I mean, he tried to use his jab, he tried to throw a few hooks in there, but at the end of the day, Wilder has always been his right hand. And I've said it for years. Like, what is it? What's going to happen when he starts to step up? And at some point, even though I don't think he fought the very very best outside of Luis Ortiz, even though he didn't fight the really really like best fighters in the division, he was still able to knock everyone out. And it's still, yo, for him to make it this far and knocking 40 people out, it just goes to show what kind of talent is really in the heavyweight division. It just goes to show you that it's really not much there, because if a guy can't box, everyone knows you can't box. Everyone, even your fans, know you can't box. But the right hand was so powerful that it was the equalizer. It didn't matter that all these guys he faced had more skills than him. All of these guys had more skills. It didn't matter. He hit so hard that it didn't even matter. But Fury, who is probably, I mean, we always consider him the most skillful of all the heavyweights in recent years. Okay? We already knew that he had that. But up until this point, he really never was a puncher like that. He just wasn't. And changing coaches and getting back with the crunch gen, it it really benefited him. All right, they had a great game plan. They stood by what they said that they were gonna do, and it worked out for them. And I think it would work out for them again if they have a third fight. I just don't think in one camp Wilder is gonna improve that much. And how much can you really improve? I mean, you're already in your mid 30s. You're 34 years old at this point. Your right hand has worked out for you your entire career. Even when you struggled in certain fights, it saved you each and every single time. If you didn't knock your opponent out early, you knocked them out late. No matter how many rounds you gave up in the process, your right hand always came to save the day. All right, it just didn't this time because Fury is just too skillful, too experienced, too big, too strong. Um, and he threw the right hand and landed at times. It just didn't hurt the guy. What do you do when the guys have every other advantage over you? And your one advantage that you did have doesn't work. That's what we saw tonight or the other night, and it is what it is. So I don't believe Wilder should fight Fury next, but I do believe it will happen because it's all about the money at the end of the day. It's all about the money, and I'm not sure if they're gonna make as much money in a third fight, but I believe that they're still gonna make enough to where, as of right now, fighting Fury again will be Wilder's next biggest payday. Outside of this fight this past weekend, there's no other fights that can really be made. Of course, the Anthony Joshua fight, but the Joshua fight never happened. So right now, as far as his next fight, if he doesn't fight Tyson Fury, he's not going to make nearly as much. It probably wouldn't even be a pay-per-view, you know? So with that all being said, I think that even if we believe that Wilder will lose again, and when I say we, I mean I've listened to a lot of people speak on this topic. I'm talking about the analysts on the networks. I'm talking about boxing channels. I'm talking about the boxing experts. Even if we don't feel that Wilder is going to win the third fight, the money may just be worth it. I know he's turned down big money deals with the zone and stuff like that, but I'm talking about the options that are currently available at this point that he's taken a loss. This Tyson Fury third fight will probably be his best bet as far as just making money. Okay. Um. Now, if he wants to stretch out his career and continue to fight longer without another loss, and he wants to take a tune-up, or if he wants to fight someone else, okay, maybe I don't know what's going on behind the scene, but maybe him and his team is saying, maybe we shouldn't take another Tyson Fury fight because because of how the first fight looked as far as points are concerned, or because of the outcome of the second fight. If they are agreeing to that, I made a short list of 5 fighters that I think Wilder should face. Okay. Um, this list does not include Dillian White because Dillian White is the WBC mandatory and he's going to be looking to fight Tyson Fury because he is the mandatory. He's already spoken out about that. Eddie Hearn has been talking about Joshua Fury fight right now, making that big fight. Uh, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I don't think it's going to happen right now. I think it will happen at some point. But Dillian White has been WBC mandatory for I don't know how many days. It's probably at least 700 days plus at this point. You know, it's been mandatory for like 2 years, and he's been top in the top WBC rankings for a long time. All right, he should have gotten his shot a couple years back. Okay, at least. So this doesn't include Dillian White, this list here. But this list are full of guys that are right-handed fighters that are usually bringing pressure to their opponents, that are used to coming forward, that can make Wilder fight on his back foot. Not as good as Tyson Fury, but these guys are also dangerous. Okay, and being that Wilder has lost his fight, people that potential opponents have a game plan. They have a game plan on how to beat Wilder now because they've seen it done. Even though they don't have the dimensions that Fury has or the skill set that Fury has, they're going to be looking to do exactly what Fury did to win their fight. You know, so I'm going to start out with Andy Ruiz. I think automatically he's number one. This was the name that was brought up in my live commentary during the fight, after the fight. A lot of people brought up Andy Ruiz. Uh, Andy Ruiz, yes, he's very short, chubby guy. Like again, he doesn't have the dimensions that Tyson Fury has. None of them do. But he's a guy that is normally coming forward. I've never seen him, consistently fight on his back foot. Everybody he's faced, even when he stepped up and fought Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua, he came forward. Okay, if he fought Wilder, he would be coming forward. Uh, the reason why I say this is a number one fight, and this is the only fight that I have that's actually ranked. I think this makes the most sense, is because A, he's already a PBC fighter. B, he already has a name. Okay, he has a name now that he stopped Anthony Joshua. People know who he is. Okay, they can make that a pay-per-view. They can generate a lot of money. The fight would be easy to make, and it would be a tough fight for Wilder if Andy Ruiz shows up. He didn't show up in a rematch against Anthony Joshua. If he were to show up against Wilder and be on his A game with a new trainer or whatever he needs to do, if he cuts down on the weight and he takes this fight serious and he prepares as if he wants to win the fight, if he's hungry for this rematch, right? Which I'm not sure if he is or not. But if he's hungry, he can definitely give Wilder a tough fight. Okay, he's shorter, but he's used to fighting taller guys, longer guys. All right, he knows how to get in on them. He knows how to throw bombs. He has fast hands. He's great at throwing combinations. He knows how to handle himself. Defensively, he's flawed compared to Tyson Fury. All right, he doesn't have the length, the height, the size. I mean, he's a heavy guy, but Fury is the right weight for his height. Okay, Andy Ruiz doesn't have a lot of those things, but he is still very, very dangerous, and he will make Wilder fight for on his back foot. And this is if Wilder is preparing for another Fury fight. All right, it may not be one. All right, but if he wants to prepare for Fury and fight him again in the future, not immediately, but if he wants to prepare for Fury, these are the guys that he would have to fight, in my opinion. All right. Second guy I have here, Adam Karnowski. Okay, uh, Polish fighter from Brooklyn, big slugger, big slugger. We seen him in there with Charles Martin. We seen him there with Spilka, destroy Spilka. We seen him in there with Gerald Washington. Destroy Washington even faster than Wilder did. All right, we seen him in there. All right, we know what he can do. All right, he's a front foot heavy fighter. He wants to war. He's never going to be fighting on his back foot. Okay? He's tough. He has a chin. He hits hard. He throws a lot of punches. He brings the pressure. All right? He's taller than Ruiz. Not as tall as Fury, but he's tall, he's long, and he's going to be coming towards Wilder. So if he wants preparation, and mind you, these names that I'm naming, even the other three, they're all real fights. They are all real fights. These are not complete tune-ups. Wilder is not at the stage where he needs to be just taking easy fights. If he wants to get better, whether he fights Fury again in the future, whether he fights Anthony Joshua, if he wants to improve on his all-around game, he's going to need to fight guys that's going to bring the pressure, like Tyson Fury did. So Kaunasky is the other guy that I have up there. Another fight that's easy to make. He's a PBC fighter. This is a name that's been tossed around when it came to a potential of Wilder opponents. Okay, Kaunasky's had his own cards here in Brooklyn. He's known here in Brooklyn. Wilder is known here in Brooklyn. They can easily make that fight in Brooklyn. All right, I'm just being biased because I want to go see that shit. All right, so another name here, Derek Chisora. Even though he's not a PBC guy, this is a fight that I feel that can happen. Chisora is another pressure fighter, another guy that's going to come forward, a big guy, not tall like Fury, but he's going to come and applying pressure. He's going to be coming forward, okay, against Deontay Wilder, especially after seeing Wilder lose that way. He's gonna be coming forward and throwing big looping right hands, trying to KO Wilder. He's gonna be looking to land the same punch Fury did when he dropped Wilder in that third round, the one that busted his ear. Okay, so Chisora is another guy that is not as good as Fury, but is still very dangerous and is likely to knock you out if you're not careful. Okay, do I think these guys will absolutely beat Deontay Wilder? No, but I think they have a better chance now after seeing what happened to Wilder. Another tough fight, not the toughest fight, but the proper fight, in my opinion. All right, Derek Chisora. Fourth, Big Baby Miller. Another fighter that could be a big fight. All right, people know who Big Baby is. People remember that he was supposed to fight AJ. Okay, people saw the build up to that fight. Big Baby is the biggest of them all. Not as tall as Fury, but extremely big. All right, this is a 300-pounder. All right, he doesn't have the one punch knockout like. Well, I'm sure he could sit down on his punches, but he chooses not to. He doesn't sit down on every punch. The volume is up. Now we can speculate and say that maybe some of his previous fight, he was he was dirty in those fight, because he tested dirty going into the Joshua fight, and he's failed a drug test before. All right, so maybe he's not as good as what we think he is. Very possible. I know people are going to bring it up, so I'm just bringing it up. But still, as far as his style, the way he fights, and his style, I mean his size, he would be a good opponent for Deontay Wilder to get back in the mix. Another guy that has a big mouth, they would sell the fight. They would probably even make it a pay-per-view just because it would sell the fight. Big Baby has talked a lot of shit to Wilder already, has brought up stuff about his baby moms, been very extremely disrespectful towards Wilder. They would definitely sell the fight. Even if the pay-per-view doesn't do great, it would do enough. They would easily make that fight. Big Baby, I believe, is with ESPN now. So it's not like the fight can't happen. The fight could be done. It could definitely be done. All right, so Big Baby, another fight, not as tough as Fury, but another dangerous fight. Dangerous for anyone. And the last one I have here is Oscar Rivas, who I believe is now with Top Rank. He is with ESPN. A fight that can be made. Another guy that comes forward, doesn't throw a lot of punches, but has a big right hand. All right, he's usually coming forward towards his opponents. Usually, for the most part, he's another dangerous fighter that is not easy. All right, not a real tune-up, not a journeyman, but someone that can make you better if you're trying to improve yourself. This is all about Wilder improving and moving forward. All right, if he's going to continue fighting. Oscar Rivas is the fifth guy that I have here. These are my top five, not including Dillian White here, because Dillian White is going towards a WBC. He wants that mandatory shot. All right, so these five guys, all tough fighters, all top heavyweights, but the proper fights if Wilder wants to improve and gain some confidence if he doesn't choose to fight Tyson Fury. These are my top five, all right? A lot of people are talking retirement. Wilder should, quit this, that, and the third. I'm not saying that. I've never said that. I didn't say that when Joshua lost the fight to Ruiz. We saw what he was able to come back and do. But Joshua is a better boxer than Wilder. So I don't think the improvements that Joshua made can happen with Wilder within one camp. I don't believe that can happen because Wilder is not as good technically as Joshua. But there are things that Wilder can definitely work on if he brings in some new people in his camp. I don't think he should fire his trainer. I didn't think Joshua should have fired his trainer neither. I just think that certain fighters, certain trainers should come into the camp to work on different things. Wilder is going to have to work on different things. He needs to work on his legs, first of all. Okay, you need to build those legs up a little better. All right, those skinny legs finally caught up to you. All right, work on his stamina. Do some more road work. Um, you know, there's a few things. I don't want to get into it. This video is not about that. These are things that I've said countless times on my channel about Wilder and the flaws that he has. There's too many to name, but I just believe that he shouldn't retire. I believe that he should still fight again. I don't think it should be against Tyson Fury, but on financial reasons, I think that makes the most sense just to take the Fury fight for a third time. Even though I don't want to see it, I'm looking outside of just me. Just, I just don't think he has a chance of being Fury again. If he loses to Fury again, it could really hurt his career really, really bad, especially if he ends up getting beat up even worse than the first time. It can really, really, really damage them. I know Joshua lost to Ruiz, but it was kind of like an upset where this was an actual 50-50. You know, Ruiz was not a 50-50 fight. All right, it was an upset. This is not an upset. Regardless of who you thought was going to win, this is not an upset. We already saw what happened in the first fight. All right, so this is what I think Wilder should do. I think I cleared all angles here. Um, but just take the time off to recover and work out the deal. But if he doesn't work out the deal with Tyson Fury and they decide to move forward, there's still other big fights that can be made. Even pay-per-view worthy type of fights. All right. So anyway, that's my video, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. I gotta make a video about Tyson Fury possibly fighting AJ. All right. Peace.